What's up, Soul Squad? What's up, Soul Squad? Welcome. You see what's going on. I got that Grandma Jackie pie mix. I'm about to show everyone who bought this mix how we get down with it. With that being said, before we get started, you want to do what? Hit that intro. Okay, so squad, welcome back. So this is what I got here. I didn't show you guys, but I roasted or baked my sweet potatoes in the oven. I did like 4 little ones to create 2 big ones. I have a recipe on the back of my Grandma Jackie sweet potato pie mix. You could go by or you could go ahead and do your own recipe. This is all about the pie mix and how the flavor, how I make your pie taste. Now this is an unsalted stick of butter. I'm going to brown this. I am going to lift, elevate the flavor. When you do brown butter, it gives it like a coconut, like a toasty type taste to the baked good, and it tastes amazing. I never did it with a sweet potato pie before. This is my first time. I want to do something different. So this is not the exact recipe that's on the back of the bag, guys. So we're gonna set the butter to the side. They are so wrinkled. I did these things last night. They are so wrinkled. I had a 3-pound bag of sweet potatoes, and all of them just did not look good. So these are the 4 that I chose, and I baked them in the oven on 400 for an hour. Unfortunately, some of them was not even all the way done. Some of them was still hard on the backside. I don't know why I didn't catch that, but we're gonna end up using what we could use. I'm only making 1 pie because Thanksgiving is like in a couple of days, and I just want to do 1 pie. So right here in my big old bowl, guys, I'm going to split the sweet potato down the middle, and I'm just going to let it just come on out, peel off that skin. Now, a lot of people boil their sweet potatoes, and which is okay. But they'll hold a lot of water when you're making this pie. So baking them in the oven for 400 for an hour or until they fall tender, comes out a whole lot better, guys. So this is my second one, and this is where I started to notice as I was pulling off the skin. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm feeling something hard. So the back part of the sweet potato was like hard, guys. And you could tell because it's hard for me to take the skin off. And I was like, girl, should I throw them back in the oven? Should I use what I got? I'm only making 1 pie. Is 3 going to be enough? I was just thinking all this in my head. And I was like, yeah. And see, y'all see how firm it is? So even though they were small, that 400 for an hour, I might need like maybe an hour and 10 minutes or something, because it wasn't that hard, but it was like firm enough. It wasn't hard like when I started putting it in, but it was firm enough to say, I don't think I'm going to be able to use this sweet potato. These are not the prettiest sweet potatoes in the batch, y'all. See, that was just two. I was like, honey, I tossed that to the side. I did grab what I could grab off of it that was soft, but I was like, you know what? That's not a go. Let's go ahead and move on to the next potato. And I could tell this one was a lot softer because the way the peel just came off it almost just like the first one. But I ain't gonna lie, this one had a couple of hard a couple of firm spots too. Y'all, I don't know what was going on. Did I want to make this pie or what? But I did it. I thought since they were so small, that 1 hour would have did it. But yeah, I just was able to take off some of those firm spots. But I ended up with 3. 3 sweet potatoes out the 4 was not bad, okay? It was not bad. We make a 1 pie. By the time we use the evaporated milk and everything, we'd be good to go. So what I want to do now is I'm showing y'all how much I got, and we're going to make this work for this pie, okay? So what I want to do now is I'm going to take my blender because, when you normally make sweet potato pies, we have so many strings. And when you use your hand mixer and get in there, get to blending it up and stuff, those strings will come off on the little blending things. So the blades. So you know what? Surprisingly enough, maybe they were just too small. We didn't deal with any strings. No sweet potato strings, and that's what I like. So what I'm doing now is that I'm scraping down the sides and stuff. I'm gonna get my other spatula. I don't know why I grabbed the wooden spoon, but I'm scraping down the sides. And while I'm doing this, I have a half a stick of I'm about to do a half a stick of butter. Y'all, when you're doing voiceover, I gotta be like, what's coming up next? I don't know. I can't see what I got here together. But yeah, it was no strings, so I was really happy about not having the string. So I'm gonna take this unsalted butter. Since I'm only making one pie, I'm only gonna use a half a stick of this. And I got that half a stick of butter in there, and we're gonna just let it cook until it turns brown. We don't want to burn it. We don't want it to overcook. We're just gonna cook it until it turns brown. And as you guys can see, you see it right there? It's starting to turn brown. We about to pull her off the stove. It takes less than a couple of seconds for this to turn brown. And the reason why I'm pulling this butter in here, look at it, nice and brown and nutty. I'm pouring the butter in because I'm doing eggs, and I want to stir the butter in, mix the butter into the mix before I add the egg, because butter is hot and we don't want the eggs to cook. So I'm just mixing really well up the butter. Y'all, if this was smell-o-vision, you could smell that this like that little nutty brown aroma that's coming from that butter. This is going to elevate your sweet potato pie to the fullest. I'm telling you. Again, you know, I'm screaming down my sides. And y'all, I didn't want to do a voiceover, but when I did it without a voiceover, YouTube tried to copyright me because my family was playing music in the background, but the music was just so far off. And you know, yesterday was Sunday, and when I do stuff on Sunday, it's football time, so there's so much noise in the house with the fellas looking at the game and everything. I thought I was going to be able to get ready with it because no one was in the living room, but I got a pack Grandma Jackie sweet potato pie mix. I'm using 1 cup because I'm only making 1 pie. My pie mix is enough. It's a great amount. So you can actually make 2 pies using my pie mix. Now this pie mix got everything you need. You don't have to second guess yourself on how much vanilla, how much ginger, how much allspice, how much nutmeg, how much cinnamon. I got it all right here. If you read it on the back of the pie bag, it tells you what's in here. You got your ginger, your nutmeg, your allspice, your vanilla, your white sugar, your brown sugar, your cinnamon. It's all in there so that this pie can taste the way your grandma used to make it. And guys, don't forget to sprinkle some of this on your yams. When you're making those yams, don't forget to sprinkle some of this on your yams. So yeah, so I went in with 1 cup, and I think that's all I needed. It was, y'all, this pie was good. My family enjoyed this pie. My son Jackson had 2 pieces. He's like, yeah, this was good. He liked warm pie, so of course he warmed it up later on. He just sitting in the bed just eating. I said, I did that. He said, yeah, it's pie good, Mom. So yeah, so don't get it twisted. That Grandma Jockey approved sweet potato pie mix. If you never made a pie before, and I had people told me I never made a pie because I don't know the measurements and everything. This all you need is my mix, okay? That was a half a cup of evaporated milk. Some people use whole milk. My mom always use evaporated milk, and I used to use whole milk. So I decided this year, you know, I had a couple of cans of evaporated milk in there, Carnation, and it doesn't matter the brand of evaporated milk you use. This, when you're making 1 pie, you want to, you know, go down on the ingredients amount. So I only used a half a cup. If I had more yams in here and making 2 pies, I would use the whole stick of butter. I would use the whole cup of milk. But I did a half a stick of butter, and I did a half a cup of milk and evaporated milk, and then I'm blending. Now I don't have an immersion blender, so this is not going to be all smooth and silky and creamy. But if you have an immersion blender, honey, go in, make it smooth, get the lumps out. I beat it. I didn't want to beat it too long because I didn't want it that loose. But let me taste it. Yeah. That's what that pie mix do, boo. That's what that pie mix do. But what I must say that I did, I added maybe like one more tablespoon. Cause like it's sweet, but I taste the nuttiness of the butter. Let me just add one more tablespoon. And I did. I added one more tablespoon of the pie mix in here, cause and I wanted to taste before I put the egg in. Now I'm going with one egg. If I was making two pies, I would use two eggs. And then, truth be known, y'all go over there and get my eggs. I ain't got but one egg. Now, this is new too. I am using a half of orange. People put citrus now in their sweet potato pie. We putting lemon and oranges. So I'm not a big lemon girl. So I went in with a half of orange. I cut that orange in half and I squeezed all that juice in there. Just one half of orange. Now you can actually do both. You could do a half of lemon and a half of orange. It depends on your palate and what your family like. My family don't like lemon in their sweet potatoes because people put it in their sweet potato, put lemon in their sweet potato pie. We ain't going down like that. But I did want to just like elevate her this year, make her pop with that nutty flavor from the brown butter and the citrus from the orange to see what it brings to it. When I tell you it brings a lot. If you follow this recipe, you will not regret it. If you follow this recipe and the recipe on the back of my pack, you won't regret it. Or if you got your own. Now, y'all, this is a semi-homemade video, okay? I was not about to do the crust. With a lot of cooking that we got to do, nobody got time to make a crust. I do know how to make crust. I'll show you guys in a later video after Thanksgiving because I'm going to let you know how my Grandma Jackie pie mix worked with an apple pie because it still have all those different flavors that you need: sugar, cinnamon, a little nutmeg. So we're gonna make a homemade apple pie after Thanksgiving. So I'm punching holes in the crust because as the crust bake, if you don't punch air holes in it, it's gonna puff up, and you don't want it to puff up, guys. So yes, I am using the knife. I didn't even go get my little plastic fork or anything. I'm just using a knife poking these holes at the bottom. So poke holes, or you could blind bake. I typically don't blind bake my pie crust, especially with sweet potato pie. I really don't blind bake it. I think I blind bake it when I did last time I blind baked a pie when I did what's that pie to be having that thing on it? I don't know, that other pie. But we ain't talking about that pie, so I don't even worry about that pie. But that was the last time I blind baked. But this one, I'm just poking little holes in it so when it goes in the oven, it cooks all together. It won't puff up. A pecan pie, that's what it was. The last time I blind baked when I made a pecan pie. And I only made a pecan pie one time in my life and it came out amazing. So, okay, I got the holes plugged in. I have your crust in the refrigerator. You want a cold crust. The crust is made with made with shortening, made with butter. I'm not sure what they make theirs with, but you want a cold crust. So I took this right out of the refrigerator, y'all. And like I said, she's not all creamy and silky. I need to get a new immersion blender, but if you got one, make her creamy and silky. But I was so glad that we did not have any strings to deal with. But yeah, look at her. So guys, guess what? Those 3 small sweet potatoes got me a 9-inch pie, okay? It did the thing. So I was not mad. So this is going to go on a baking tray. I always put stuff on a baking tray. This is going to go on a baking tray. Guys, I had a little interruption, so I hope it ain't messed up my voiceover. This is going to go on the baking tray. I'm just hitting a little bit of getting the type of air bubbles and stuff out. What I would say is that I did this on 365 for an hour. Guys, 365 for an hour. I'm going to tell you what I forgot to do. When the pie came out, I recorded it. I thought I was recording, and come to find out when I go edit, I'm missing the whole clip when I showed you guys the pie look when it came out the oven. But after the pie cooled down for an hour or so, I put a little foil on to sit it to the side so the family is ready to eat it. The website is right here on the picture, guys, telling you how to go get this Grandma Jackie's sweet potato pie mix. Now, it's too late to get it for Thanksgiving, but like I said, the holiday is not over. We still got Christmas coming. See how glossy and shiny that pie is? She is right. I don't know why I thought I could use a cake spatula to cut. It wasn't even going all the way down. So I said, you know what? Let me grab a knife. I grabbed any knife that was possible. But this grandma's sweet potato pie mix is versatile. You can use like your sweet potatoes. Someone told me they're making a cream cheese sweet potato pie. You can use it on. I said, yeah. You can use it on anything that you want to experiment on. Guys, just always remember to like, share, subscribe, and all those good things. And my son Jack's about to taste it. I'm gonna stop this voiceover and I'm gonna see if you guys can hear him tasting the pie. But she looked good, y'all. She said for an hour and a half, she looked good. So let me stop this and let me see if y'all get to hear Jackson's reaction. I ain't made the crust, but you know that store-bought crust. The crust good. How I tell you?
This tastes so. Oh!
You know what? I want to try it. It tastes good though.
That's good.
Cause it's the filling. That's all you need right here. Get this. Like, share, subscribe. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Make this your dessert using my grandma Jackie's sweet potato pie mix, okay? Look at her. You can't go wrong with that.